Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Miles. Welcome back to another episode of Xraised, where knowledge meets inspiration in the intricate dance of industry evolution. Now, you know we love a good business story around here, especially when it involves a little grit, a lot of vision, and just enough tech to make your head spin in a good way. And today's guest, she's got all three on tap. She spent 25 years navigating the crossroads of tech and financial services, building businesses, scaling teams, and delivering results that go far beyond KPIs. She's not just about driving revenue, she's about reshaping how companies think about data, consent, and privacy in the digital age. A certified yoga instructor in her downtime, a seasoned executive in her professional lane, and a proud co founder of a company that's protecting organizations from the rising storm of privacy lawsuits. So, here's the kind of leader who reads the fine print and sees the big picture, the co founder and CEO of Sentinel Insights, Cara Caruso. Hi, Cara.
Hi, Miles. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to our community. I've been looking forward to this conversation, Kara, because today our topic is something that keeps a lot of companies up at night: digital privacy, consent violation, and data integrity. So, starting off with your impressive 25-year journey, weaving through tech and finance, which, by the way, sounds like a perfect storm for innovation. So, what key experiences along that path led you and your co founders to launch Sentinel Insights?
Well, it was an exciting time back in 2021 because, frankly, we were living this pain firsthand. So, all of our team, we came from the world of analytics consulting, both working at agencies and in-house, and for some of the largest brands. And we kept running into the same problem. Our clients were expecting us to give them clean, consented, and reliable data to drive their businesses. And we were struggling with the tools that were available in the market. They were manual and time intensive. We would spend hundreds, if not 1,000 hours trying to get things right. And frankly, it still wasn't good enough for our standards. And so we decided to build the tool, and that was the birth of Sentinel Insights. And it was exciting because the deeper we went in trying to understand data quality, that is when we started to understand the importance of consent and people wanting to share their information. And if they didn't, if they opted out, it was a really good reason why companies were no longer allowed to collect that data.
Mhm.
And so that is how the birth of Sentinel Insights all started just a few years ago.
Very interesting. And that's the kind of founder story that we love, Cara, leaving the pain firsthand and then building the cure. And what you just described, manually chasing consent, playing tag with invisible trackers, it's like digital whack a mole, but with legal consequences, right?
Yes, the
Mhm.
risks are real.
I know. And so let's cut to the chase, Kara, because, why should companies really or truly care about consent violations, privacy detection, and data quality beyond just legal compliance? What's at stake here?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. Companies think that they buy a consent management platform and they're good to go. And as the lawsuits and the regulatory fines are telling us, they have been doubling year over year the last 3 years, um, that this isn't enough, right? And that technologies are still firing, users are opting out, and they are silently violating all of these privacy laws.
Mhm.
Also, fun fact, a few years ago, California led the way, but now across the United States, we have almost 20 states with enacted or going to enacted, and there's GDPR in Europe, not to mention all of the other countries that have set up privacy laws. This
Uh-huh.
stuff didn't even exist, frankly, even a few years ago. So now it's at the forefront. See, people really don't care, personally, I think, until they know the numbers.
Yeah.
So the first fine that ever was issued that had all the news was around Sephora. It was a $1.2 million fine,
Mhm.
because they didn't honor an opt-out control in the browser.
Uh-huh.
Then, companies like GameStop, they got hit with $4.5 million lawsuit
Wow.
because they were sharing data with Meta. And then you have companies even recently like Healthline that got hit with a $1.55 million fine,
Mhm.
um, for sharing data after users opted out. But that's not even the worst of it. That's just what the regulatory comes after. Then
Mhm.
you also have to deal with the class action lawsuits. And companies are settling these lawsuits from anywhere from a few million to multi-million dollars. And frankly, some of the really large tech firms, it's over $100 million in fines. So we are talking about a massive impact to a company's bottom line. If
Mhm.
they're getting hit with a fine, a lawsuit, and all their legal costs, a $10 million hit for something that might have been able to be prevented for maybe $100,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, that ROI here is easy to justify.
And
So
that
that's why I think companies should care. It's no longer something a few years ago we hardly ever talked about in the MarTech
Mhm.
industry, and now it's everywhere.
Yeah. And that's some serious reality check right there, Kara. It's wild. I mean, we've got, say, cookie banners popping up everywhere, and most of us just assume clicking decline actually does something. I mean, companies are trusting them like they're digital bouncers. But it
Yeah,
turns out, as you said, some of these trackers are sneaking in through the back door anyway, right?
right.
So, from your seat as CEO, Kara, I'm sure you've seen under the hood and the privacy engines making some alarming noises. What's
Yeah.
been the most surprising discovery you've made since launching Sentinel Insights?
Well, I've got two, if I can share both.
Okay. Yes, please.
The first is there was quite a bit of research over time that said 70% of websites have violations in this area around either still collecting data when and somebody says, I've opted out, or they're passing along PII or sensitive data when they shouldn't. Um,
Mhm.
our data, and we've now scanned a significant number of sites. We're pushing over 1,000 in just the last few months alone. And we're seeing that's actually closer to 95% of websites having
Oh,
violations,
not 70.
not 70. So it's even more.
Mhm. Wow.
The second thing that's interesting to me, right, is the companies who are actually trying to fix it, who are really struggling because it's very hard to fix. They assume that they bought a platform, they pop a cookie banner and they think it's turning it off. What they don't realize is the implementation is much harder than they think. So, for example, there was a company in Connecticut who they actually got notice from the state attorney general and said, you have 60 days to resolve this. And perhaps they weren't as timely in their response, but then they actually thought they fixed it. Similarly, this
Mhm.
story I've heard at least 3 times in the last 90 days. I've had law firms send us companies that have been, they're in the middle of class action lawsuits, and their technology teams thought they fixed the problem. And
Mhm.
they said, we actually want you to come in and just double check. We're gonna drop your software in and figure it out. All of them still had violations, and not just a few, many. And it's because it's really hard for people to find. Sometimes you feel like you're looking for a needle in a haystack, but
Yes.
now I can just automate it and show you this is exactly where it's happening, how often it's happening, and they can immediately go in and fix it in a matter of minutes
Mhm.
instead of spending, no joke, perhaps 100 hours trying to roll through everything looking for that one thing that's causing a problem on the page.
Uh-huh. And
So that's
money.
what's been so surprising to me is one, how often it's occurring, and two, how many companies have tried to fix it and it's really hard manually.
I see. Well, that's a lot of money. Takes a lot of effort as well. And that
Yes.
95% of websites that you mentioned unintentionally violating privacy laws is more than just a gap. I think
Yes.
that's a canyon. And
Yes.
the fact that companies still don't act even after a warning, I mean, that's chaos in the making. So visibility and accountability should indeed go hand in hand. And with this space, Kara, evolving faster than TikTok trends, how are you and Sentinel Insights staying ahead of the shifting privacy landscape, especially across different states and global markets?
Absolutely. We are so fortunate to collaborate closely with a number of amazing law firms and privacy consulting experts.
Mhm.
They are the ones, these law firms are the ones either, defending their clients in this, or they're actually trying to set up the operational systems to prevent it. We're also active members of IAPP. It's the Industry Association of Privacy Professionals.
Mhm.
And they provide wonderful conferences and expert webinars and in-depth training. I recently attended one of their conference, they called it Navigate, and it brought together global leaders in digital policy. And I'm talking about from the major European data protection organizations and SIPL to the DOJ to some of the state regulators. And even some of the top enterprise chief privacy officers were in there talking about what is coming with digital policy. So
Mhm.
being able to be a part of those kinds of organizations really helps us understand not only what we're dealing with now, but what is likely coming in the future, and
Mhm.
making sure that we're helping our clients prepare and we're creating a platform to support them with these constant and evolving changes in this privacy landscape.
Right. Talk about staying ahead.
Yes, you have to stay ahead.
I know. And aside from just reading regulations, Cara, it's also about reading between the lines. The fact that you're plugged into the legal pulse and building your platform with that intelligence baked in, I think that's the difference between reacting and reading the radar. And you seem to be seeing the roadblocks before everyone else. So, what excites you most about where Sentinel is headed, and how can our audience plug in and learn more?
Sure. Well, I will tell you, I'm really excited about the of people I work with, people who they generally care about what we're doing here, where consent, privacy, and data quality converge. And you see, it's not a checkbox. We actually want to ensure that people's privacy choices are respected. We
Uh-huh.
want to give people what they're expecting. And frankly, we have seen from the research, TrustArc just did a great report, that companies who have that privacy forward thinking have created more trust, and they are, frankly, their revenues are benefiting by having these better privacy programs and policies in place. So we're incredibly proud of what we've built and what's coming.
Mhm.
And we know that regulations are going to get more complex. Enforcement is getting more aggressive. And we want to help our customers move from being reactive to proactive here. So
Mhm.
if anyone's interested in learning more, we of course welcome them to go to sentinelinsights.com. And there's a great opportunity to actually run a free consent scan. It's a simple 1 point in time to see if your website might be throwing some violations and if it's something you might need to be considering. So I encourage people to try out our free consent scanner on sentinelinsights.com.
Awesome. Being proactive to prevent lawsuits. And I'm getting serious mission control energy from your team, Cara, because that really hits home. Your
Yeah.
team is driven by purpose and has a product with real time eyes on every tracker. And the way Sentinel flips the script from guessing to knowing you're compliant, I mean, that I must say is the kind of confidence every modern company needs. And there's so much we're taking from this, Cara. Thank you so much. I mean, one, ignoring privacy compliance is like leaving your front door wide open and hoping the wind doesn't blow in a lawsuit. And
Yes.
behind every accept all cookies button, there better be a system that actually listens when someone says no thanks. So, Cara, thank you so much for sharing your story, your vision, and some eye opening truths about a topic that's often misunderstood, I must say, until it's, too late. Thank you.
Thanks
It's
for
a
having me
pleasure.
today, Miles.
Thank you, Cara. Have a great day. So, folks, go to sentinelinsights.com to learn more and even request a free consent scan, as Cara said, to see how your site stacks up. And I mean, why not, right? Your legal team will thank you later. And if you enjoyed this chat, share and subscribe or just send us a cookie, but the real one, not the tracking kind. So, thank you everyone for staying with us. I hope you catch another episode again soon. This has been your host, Miles. Stay focused and inspired with Xraised.